We're gonna go this way.
All right. My name is Sean. I'm a alumni for the IAP program.
Cool.
I play bass for a band called Danger Escape, and we're trying to get more venues to book us, but they don't seem to be replying. Is there any tips or tricks you have to get venues to kind of like reach out to you more?
It's tough. That's always the one of the questions when we meet with bands is how do we get a booking agent? It's because early on, everybody wants to get into the venues. The one thing that'll put you in a venue is fan base. And so I would focus on the fan base, and even if it's throwing DIY shows and putting together shows on your own, and then also work it with the more independent and smaller agents, and just get your music to them and find a way. There's always the intern at the agencies, the junior agents. There's tons of independent agencies, and those would be my two biggest kind of like. It's easier said than done, I know, but you have to kind of be vigilant, and you have to find a way to get your music to the people who are, whether it's the people working at the club, the agents, the interns at the agency. You kind of just have to keep knocking on all the doors, and sometimes you never know like which straw breaks the camel's back, but like you have to try to like put as many on there as you can.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And I think to your point about big fish in a small pond, I think a mistake that a lot of bands make is when they're looking for an agent or a manager or a record label is they go, well, I love this band or I love that band, and who's their agent, who's their manager? And the other side of that coin, though, is like, well, if you go to this agent who has these 6 huge bands that you love, you're gonna be busy with those 6 huge bands. So even if you end up on the roster, it's kind of like, eh.
Well, they gotta love your band. It's like with managers and agents, it's the people that make the difference. It's not necessarily the company.
Exactly. Who are they? What's the reputation like?
Yeah.
Do people enjoy talking to them? Are they, are they honest? Are they fair? Will they work hard for you? It's so much more important than a list of bands on a piece of paper. So those lists always change. If you go somewhere and you're like, with very few exceptions, if you go somewhere because you're like, oh, these bands are there, those bands might not be there 2 or 3 years from now. So it's all about the person. This way.
Hi, my name's Brenda.
Hi.
Hi. Holy crap, it's Joel. Sorry.
Hello, Brenda.
Hi. No, I'm doing a paper, like my final paper in college, and it was 2 people that inspire you in your personal life, like, your mom or whatever, and somebody that's, I guess, celebrity that inspires you. And I have been listening to you guys since I was like 12. You guys were the first album I ever bought, and I like scrounged up my money to like get it.
Cool. Which one?
I think it was Lifestyles.
Okay, Young and Hopeless.
Yeah. And then
cool.
It was just like it boggled my mind how amazing the music was. So I just wanted to like, I guess, thank you. Like a 12-year-old wanted to thank you for just kind of giving her that like kind of push, because after that I just wanted to like play guitar, and I wanted to like learn, and it opened a whole new world. So I just wanted to let you know that I thank you guys for doing what you guys are doing, and you guys are my paper pretty much like for my finals. So, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you, Brenda. I know it's important for you to also know that it's only because of you, and collectively that you represent a group of people that bought our record, but our music really wouldn't have mattered. The radio really wouldn't have played us. No one would have had us on their TV shows or in their magazines if you didn't like the music and believe in the music, and we wouldn't have a career if it weren't for you. So thank you. It's interesting because like we affected each other just as much. So I appreciate it, and I'm not good at writing papers, but if I could write one on you, I would.
Stop it.
And that's the thing too. you have to have talent, you have to have songs, and you have to have fans.
Gotta have fans.
A lot of bands get together now and they have like all their social media is on point, and they have a manager, and they have a merch store, and it's like you don't have any songs and no one's heard of you. And and as far as like chasing managers and agents and merch companies and
can't
record deals,
fake-
if you have
it's-
fans and good songs, they'll find you.
You can do a lot of things to make things look good in the music business. You can juke a lot of stats. You cannot fake fans. You can't fake fans. So I always say, if you see a band, check out their fans, and that their fans usually like describe the band, and I love meeting fans of bands because you get to know a lot about a band by their fans. So you definitely can't fake fans.
Absolutely. You can fake scans and
Yeah,
views.
you can fake a lot of
Can't
things.
fake fans. Let's go this way.
How you doing? My name's Corey.
Hey, Corey.
Hey, what's up, guys? So for a long time now, I've been in a band, and like we did some really cool stuff, and like I absolutely loved it. Toured the country, done the whole thing. It's been really awesome. I've kind of come to realize like kind of like the business side a lot more of music, and I was wondering like what's the best way to cross over, you think, like, between the two? Like,
You kind of just go. It's like pick a direction and go, and you'll find your way. There's a lot of information out there, so if you need to learn how to do certain things, you can. There's plenty. Truthfully, MI is great. There's online classes, like Berkeley has online classes that are really informative. There's tons of places to get information on the idea of how to do it, and then your experience as being an artist is going to probably lend you to the artists you want to work with the most.
that's what I figured too.
Absolutely, man, because you know what it feels like to be out there and to want to make it and all the process. So ultimately, you just have to kind of start going down the road. It's the one industry in the world where it's one of the industries in the world where you don't need a degree to be a manager or a publisher or a label or anything. You just have to do it, and you find a great artist and you take really good care of them and you believe in them and you end up having a career. And that's kind of how it works. It's not rocket science. It really is based on the people involved. Like a really great artist you believe in that happens to actually really be good, and you help them build their career, and it's as simple as that. I mean, I would apply myself and go and try to find something you believe in, and then help them build it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Awesome. This is a great question, too. And at the risk of offending anybody, my best friend in the world, Dave Peters, who sings for a band called Throwdown, he said to me, and I quote him all the time, never trust anyone in the music business who didn't try to start a band first.
Yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, you got to know the pain and the struggle of what it takes to get out there. And when you finally make it, people don't see the before. They only kind of see the moment. But it's a tough business to make it in on any side, and we're all kind of misunderstood. And so it's definitely one of those businesses where I definitely appreciate what the struggle of a new artist, and I feel their pain.
Yeah.
And I care, I really do. And so, I mean, I think everyone at our company certainly all feel that way. Is like we're not tricking anybody. We know what you're trying to do, and it's hard. And we're definitely not guaranteeing you anything. We're just
And that's the big thing. Those are the people in the music industry to run away from fast when they're like, I can get you this, and I can do this, and I can do that. To me, it's more like, no, I have the relationships and the access to get you in front of these
you're
things.
going to get it, and you're going to earn it.
get it. Right. Exactly. Over this way.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Nyree.
Hi.
So growing up, I've always listened to pop punk. First band I ever discovered was Green Day when I was 10 years old. So I wanted to know what are your thoughts about the progression between what pop punk or punk rock was back then, in the 90s, early 2000s versus how it's progressed now?
That's a good question. I think it follows the youth and the culture and the young energy, and it's in an interesting place because it's not like what it used to be where everything was kind of separate. So with the internet and Twitter and Instagram, we all share and we all are influenced by each other. So punks aren't only with punks now, and everybody's just mixing it up. And you see something on Instagram, you're like, I like that. Tap tap. And you're just like, it doesn't matter, So it becomes a little bit. There's like a cross-pollination that's happening. That's good, and so it's just a different time. But the energy and the need of the urgency of it is still there in my mind.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that cross-pollination is just that's been the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, and you guys have been a big part of that too. I mean, Morrissey is top 3 artist for me. The Game is a top 3 rapper for me.
What up,
I know
Chuck?
he's your homie.
Yeah,
So,
he is.
and that's the thing. It's like, there's no more boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Niece.
Hi, niece.
So like I write my own songs and I do my own shiz and whatever it's called. But
Writing.
I was wondering, what is your writing process and like how do you figure out like who do you want to collab with for like albums and stuff?
Every album's different, it's unique to itself. Dino writes songs. Sometimes he'll bring them in and he'll be like, here's an idea. Me and Benj write. Typically, me and my brother Benj write together. And then sometimes another artist will come in and it'll be different with each one. I mean, there was songs we wrote for bands where it would be just the singer and me and John Feldman, or sometimes it would be me, Benj, and the singer and the guitar player. When we were writing with 5 Seconds of Summer, it would be sometimes the whole band, or sometimes it would be 2 of us and 2 of them, and it would switch up. It's kind of like the great thing about songwriting is you never know when that song's going to hit. You never know how you're going to get there, and it's kind of like there is a magic to it. There is like, let's try things and you never know which day something's going to come that's great. You just have to keep trying, and
You can feel it. You can feel it when it happens.
It's like
always
magic.
one
Yeah, it's
person that
cool.
you have the connection with.
yeah, but there is something to that. There is like the Lennon-McCartney thing, where you look back over time, all great bands, and you'll see like 2 people that like had something together. It's chemistry. It's like when you fall in love with someone, when you guys, you date someone because you guys just have chemistry. It's like always good, or when it's bad, it's still good. It's like, that's like great songwriting. It's when you see those duos over time that just had something special. There's that,
Yeah, get it together, Axel and Slash.
Finding a good partner is so important in any endeavor that you do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, and I've been curious myself about, because you mentioned that a couple of times you guys do co-writing with other artists, and that's a big part of that Feldyverse. I just had an opportunity to hear Andy Biersack from Black Veil just did a record with Feldman, a solo record,
We worked on it.
and you guys
Played
worked on
drums
it.
on it, so-
The Andy Black record. And yeah, I'm curious, he was
song
talking
did you
about sitting down with, Patrick Stump and whatever. What is that experience when you roll in and you're kind of just meeting somebody, right? And you all know why you're there, but it's almost like there's got to be like a blind date element to it.
Yeah,
too, right?
totally. That's the fun part, though.
Right, and that's kind of what he was saying too.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah, I'm curious, like when you're, like how does that get going? Like when you sit down, you're like, okay, we're here to write a song.
I love it. It's something that we get to still do, is work on records and with lots of different artists, and it's something I always dreamed of. But you never know. Sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it's like there's no spark. But if you've done it enough, you know not to take it too personally, and you're just like, not getting it today. Let's try again tomorrow. And you just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, I know Andy wrote with Linda Perry, who's done giant hits for Gwen Stefani and
Yeah, Linda's she's dope.
Christina Aguilera, and he said she was cool and whatever, but yeah, just like kind of those songs didn't work.
Doesn't always spark.
And I'm sure Linda Perry wasn't driving away from Feldy's house going like, oh man, I didn't work with Andy Biersack. Like, it's like she's writing songs with all kinds of people. So I think that's part of the fun spirit of it too, is just, he said he had 30-something songs for that album.
Yeah,
That was
he
just
wrote a
couple
lot of
days ago,
songs. He worked really hard on that record, and I really like Andy. He's a hard worker, and he's a nice guy. But like, that's just the way it is. It's like you sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. But like you usually know within like 2 or 3 hours, you know if it's happening.
Yeah.
And if it's not, we're just like, all right.
And you
That's-
wrote a little
that's
bit with Sleeping with Sirens too, right?
Yeah.
That was that whole journey, which I got to chronicle in our last Sleeping cover. I mean, there was a whole record that went on a shelf for those dudes that they did with Nick Raskulinis. So that was I think that's so exciting. The opportunity that you have to be part of so many different band stories now.
I don't take it lightly because all these bands have worked as you guys are doing, and everyone here that's a musician. You're working hard to try and be heard, and so these bands have worked really hard. And so I never take their time. I never take it lightly to be included on the record or to like be in the studio with them. I'm kind of, you know, a weirdo in the studio. Like I don't really like. I don't know what I do exactly to get where I go, but you know, I work really well with John, and we have a way that we understand each other. And he kind of when the bands come in, you know, I definitely don't take it lightly that I'm being included on the process, but you know, Sleeping with Sirens is definitely for me. I think Kellen is one of the most talented people I've ever met. As a songwriter, as a singer, I think he's extremely talented and special. And you know, when you get to work with someone that you really think is special, it's special.
Well, I think guys like Callan, one of the big things they've learned from you and your brother especially is just being a nice person.
He's a nice guy.
Goes a long way.
Sweetheart.
Being a good person. I'm sorry, I think we were this way.
Hello.
Hi.
First off, I just want to say that I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much for all the influence you've given me musically and just in my personal life. I spent time between California and the DMV area, and it was great. I lived in Silver Springs, lived in Glen Burnie.
Sick.
And one thing that I've always gotten like judged on is because a lot of the bands that I do like are mainstream artists, you know, and a lot of my friends wanted to be cool, and we only listen to underground. And I went to school for music journalism, and
That's cool.
We looked at both, you know, mainstream artists, underground artists, and I just kind of felt like there really wasn't a difference at either scene. It was just kind of lesser known versus, you know, more known. And it's kind of an argument I've had back and forth, and I would love for you to enlighten me on your thoughts on the underground scene versus the mainstream when bands go from lesser known to, you know, better known.
I think it's a healthy argument for music. I like it because it's like it's important that people talk about music. There's the question of authenticity. I don't know. I mean, I feel like everyone who's making music and trying their hardest is being authentic to themselves. Just happens to be some of them may be from a subculture, some of them may not. But I personally, you know, I have my own taste, but music's subjective. It's like food. It's like we all like different stuff. It speaks to us in different ways, and you know. Every single person out there that's making music is a part of the human experience, and we all connect with each other in different ways. And so there's no right or wrong. I mean, I love it when I meet people who have such a strong opinion of the band they love. Like, that's good for that band, and it's good for music. At the same time, there's people who just listen to top 40 radio, and they love it. And they like turn up on the weekends and they listen to like top 40. Like that's it. That's their deal. I like that though, because they're a part of they're a part of someone's success. They're one of those. That's you know the greater kind of mass people buying that single. Someone's got to buy it, and it's good for music. So anytime, you know, music is heading to the best place it's ever been. It's headed to an incredible place. And we're going to be somewhere in about 5 to 7 years that no one could have ever imagined. And more people are listening to music right now than ever, and it's going to grow and grow and grow because we're sharing. And so when people share, we evolve. So I just think it's great to have any conversation. I love it when I hear people. I don't even get mad when people come up to me and they tell me why they hate my band or this or that. Like, I actually like having the conversation. It's good for music. So
Yeah.
I'm
What about
Yeah,
the
that's my
backhanded
thing.
compliment of like, oh, you're so much like cooler than I thought you would be, or I don't really like your band, but you know, this song's not so
I don't
bad.
know. I just kind of I love people, and I feel like
Like you said, be nice, no matter what.
I just love people, man.
Spread
If
the
someone
love,
wants to
baby.
give me a backhanded
And the
compliment, it's still a compliment. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at anyone.
Thank you.
I'm only mad at people that hurt people.